Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. It is freezing cold in this arena. It's cold. I'm joined by Ben Fields, who has to have a couple of coffees just to warm him up because we are. Well, he said it's like an ice rink. We're in an ice rink and it's fucking freezing.
It's an ice rink, yeah. Great. Just come up here to support the lads. We've got quite a few fighters on from east side, and the gym's literally just down the road. So looking forward to watching tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, good card tonight. A few good fights, and we're sort of halfway through and everything's going well. Ben, let's talk about that boxer tournament, right? Obviously, I know you're disappointed with how it turned out. It was a great group of 8 lads, great show, and it turned out to be a really good night of boxing. But from your perspective, I know it's been sort of a tough week or a couple of weeks for you post-tournament, should we say?
Yeah, well, it was a week today, wasn't it? So just really disappointed that I didn't get to perform on the night, and I think I was a bit overawed by the occasion and being on a big stage. A lot of people have said to me, getting there's an achievement, but for me that's not good enough. I want to get there and then I want to perform. So I'd like to thank everyone for supporting me along the way, but I still think there's more in the tank and there's more to come from the journey, most definitely.
You say about being overawed by the occasion. Obviously, you fought on big bills on BT, Sky, and all of these sort of shows, and you fought some big names and big prospects. But is it sort of the fact that, you know, even us and people just putting cameras in your face and people taking you not as an away fighter who's there to give someone trouble, taking you as like a serious threat, and the whole sort of event around it, perhaps that's a bit different. That was a bit different for you.
I think the build-up and the BT shows and that, they were behind closed doors, weren't they? Because it was in the pandemic, so. It definitely was. It was different on the night being on the big stage, and I think if you remember that, if you've seen the ring walk, that should have probably took me 60 to 80 seconds. I was down there in 20. I think I'd have given Usain Bolt a run for his money. You've seen the platform and how long it was, but I was down there quick, and I think just a little bit too excited on the night, and I think you've seen that in the boxing. I was very hyped. And it is what it is. I mean, Tom Farrell done his job, but does Tom Farrell beat me over 8 or 10 rounds? I don't know if he does. I think that tournament, it was the great thing about it is anybody in that tournament could beat anybody in there on their night. And I think it just wasn't my night, and I didn't perform, and that's boxing.
I said to you that every single fighter out of the 8 said to me, this suits my style, this suits my style. Yes. You were different to Levi, and Tom's different to Masha, and everyone's so different. So I was thinking in my head, there's some people that it's not going to suit. Right? And you said to me you thought it would suit you. Do you think looking back now you're just made for the 8-rounders, the 10-rounders and stuff like that, and perhaps the 3 rounds wasn't sort of adaptable with your style?
I think before, I never done no amateurs, did I? So I think in my head, I thought start fast, and I thought it would suit my style. But after fighting on that format, I think the longer fights suit me. I feel comfortable in the longer fights. I sort of I can get into a rhythm and grow into it. And looking back now, I mean, hindsight's a beautiful thing. I think possibly the longer fights suit me better. But then again, if that was my night, and if I pulled it out of the bag on the night, I'd be saying totally the opposite. So it's one of those, isn't it? It's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. But I think it just wasn't my night. Didn't perform. But we go again.
I just want to sort of recap the fight with Tom a little bit. It was quite messy in there because we know Tom's got a bit of amateur experience. We kind of expected it to play out how it did, and you were sort of trying to rough him up and sort of smother his work a bit in that. I mean, I suppose that still, even now, is sort of the way that you would try and beat Tom Farrell, I imagine, regardless of the 3 rounds or the 6 rounds. So it kind of played out how we expected.
Yeah, and I think I seen an interview after, and he said that he was just getting into his boxing in the 2nd or 3rd round, and I don't know, in there, I think every round was close. It was a split decision, and whatever you liked, whether you liked the aggressive style or whether you liked someone sitting back on the back foot, and that's what it came down to. But I don't think there wasn't much in it, was there? And over 3 rounds, I mean, you call it how you see it, but yeah, I don't think there was much in the fight.
Obviously, Tom did get through to the final, defeated by Corey. To be fair, all round as an entertainment factor, a really good night in the end. But yeah, just obviously a shame, like you said, that we didn't get to see more of you in that tournament, because I think everyone was kind of excited to just see sort of you roughing everyone up and seeing what you could bring, but still life in the dog, still stuff to go, and I know that there's a certain man that you not want to fight, I should say. There's a certain man you want to fight, and I think it's a fight that people could really get behind.
I think, do you know what? As soon as the tournament got announced and I seen some of the names that were in there, I thought, do you know what? Me and Masha, that would be a great fight.
I'm glad it didn't happen over 3 if it now happens over 8 or 10.
Oh yeah, and I think over 8 or 10 rounds, I really want the Masha fight. I think it's a great fight. We won't have to go looking for each other. Do you know what I mean? We're both come forward fighters. And I just think it can... Do you know what? Funny enough, I've had a few trainers come to our gym with sparring, and we've had been sparring with different lads. And this was about probably 18 months ago, and they said to me, you know what, you and Masha would be a good fight. And it's been bounced around the gym a few times, and it just never obviously come to fruition because we've our paths haven't crossed. But now we now we've been there, and you know what I mean, the weigh-in, we sized each other up, and he's a great lad, to be fair, Masha. You know what I mean, and I like him. But as you've seen with Tom Farrell, I don't need the needle. Do you know what I mean, to fight? I'm quite respectful on the build-up. So, but I do want the Masha fight. I think that's a great fight for the fans.
What I said is, and it's definitely a fight people can get behind. It's a really good fight, and I know that Sky said potentially to sort you out again and get you on a card, and said the same to Masha. So fingers crossed, who knows, but just sort of thinking whether the Masha fight happens or not, is there anything after sort of in this stage of your career beyond the tournament that you want to achieve, maybe even like a bucket list, anywhere you want to fight, anyone you want to fight, try and get, but anything that in your head you're like, right, I need or want to achieve this now?
Do you know what, as long as I do my best, do you know what I mean, it's not really about the other fighters or titles, or you know, for me, it's being the best I can in the ring, and that might sound a bit cheesy, but that's why I was so disappointed with my performance last week, because I know I can do better. So coming out of it, this week's been a bit of a struggle, because I know that wasn't that wasn't what I can do. I didn't show 25% of what I can do in the ring. So as far as ambition, I think, as long as I can, I mean, I've had 10 losses now, 11. So another loss doesn't mean it's not the end of the world to me. But I want to be out there on the big stage, and I want to show what I can do. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, that's the immediate goal. Yeah.
Well, you're loved on the circuit, and I'm sure people will echo my words when they say that we'd like to see you back in the ring again doing your thing. You and Masha would be sick. So, yeah, let's see what happens. But for now, we'll watch some more good boxing. And yeah, cheers, Ben.
Get back to the ringside. Yeah, Masha, let's get it on. Let's get it on, baby.